Eddie Stobart is one of the busiest haulage companies in Britain.
Crack on with it, John. See what you can do for us, all right?
So if it's not back, we won't get any money for it. We don't get any money for it, we're effectively running it around for free of charge.
Their 3,000 drivers cover the distance to the sun and back every year, delivering 16 million tonnes of essential goods around the UK and Europe. They'll take on any challenge.
I'm 2 minutes behind you.
It is close, it's going to be very close.
And any cargo.
It's something different, isn't it?
For the drivers, it can be trucking hell.
It's turning into a nightmare.
Coming up, the truckers head to the World Rally in Finland and have to multitask.
Salads for lunch, freshly made coleslaw. I don't think we do too bad for truck drivers.
A chilled driver faces her greatest fear.
Please don't tell me this is for the bridge.
And a truck gets dumped.
I find it amazing, to be honest with you. It's certainly a spectacle to see.
Eddie Stobart truckers make a delivery every 4 seconds. Their drivers have to put up with traffic jams, long hours, and living in the back of a cab. It's anything but glamorous. But there's one set of lucky truckers who are the envy of the company. And that's the World Rally Delivery Team. Today, this band of brothers are at Cockermouth in Cumbria. They're made up of 6 drivers who travel all over the world following Stobart's very own rally team.
My name's Tony, aka Big Tony. You can probably tell why.
Tony's been an international trucker for 11 years, and he's the motor mouth of the group.
Welcome to Rally Finland.
And Tony's got a sidekick.
I'm Mark. My nickname is Shiny Wheels. So I used to like shining the wheels on the truck.
Mark's always been an international driver, but this job tops the lot.
You get to travel around Europe, you know, you get paid to do it as well, which is a big perk.
It's the height of the World Rally season. The team only got back from the last rally a week ago, and in half an hour, they're off again to Finland.
Because it's such a short space between 2 rallies, they don't have a lot of time to prepare stuff, but hopefully all this stuff will be ready. Says with fingers crossed.
The lads have to load up their double-decker trailer with all the spare parts for the cars and the marquees that'll make the Stobart Rally Team base.
It's a totally different ball game than just pulling up to a delivery point, getting out, and a forklift taking the load off. We build the hospitality, we build the service park, we do a bit of everything.
The convoy's got 2 hours to get from Cockermouth to Newcastle, where they're going to catch a 16-hour ferry over to the continent. It's the start of a 4-day journey.
Well, we're all packed up, ready to go. We better get off because we've a ferry to catch.
Stobart has been delivering to World Rally Championships for 5 years for the Stobart M Sport Ford team. $860 million people watch the World Rally, so having their own team helps promote the Stobart brand abroad. The rally cars are already en route, so Tony and the team need to stay on schedule.
In this game, you can't really afford to start missing ferries.
The trailers on the back of the trucks are unique, designed and customised for the World Rally. Cue the double-decker mega trailer. These huge carriers are packed to the rafters with all the spare parts for the rally cars. That's 300 wheels, 20 bumpers, and up to 60 car panels. They carry their own forklifts on the back of the trailers to help with unloading. The truck is a Swedish Scania with a 420 horsepower V8 engine and a pulling power of 40 tons. The wheels on this monster are smaller than average to reduce the height for the 4-metre restrictions on Europe's tunnels and bridges. It makes it a low-ride truck, but it has a lifting front axle so it can board a ferry with ease. But first, they've got to get there in time. Phil, the convoy leader's got to make sure they don't miss the boat.
If it was a case of 10-15 minutes, they would actually hold the ferry. But if it was going to be much longer than that, I'm afraid, it would be turn round, head south down the A1 and head to Calais.
It would add another 600 miles to their journey and would cost Stobart's around £6,000 in fuel and wages. And crucially, it would be letting down the Stobart rally team, who depend on their vital supplies.
The rally will not wait for you. You know, if you're not here with all your equipment and the transport doesn't get here in time, then it's irrespective. You know, the event will still go ahead. And of course, then the team and everything faces penalties from the FIA.
And that could mean the Stobart rally team can't compete, or they'll have vital points deducted. So the 6 truckers need to get their skates on. Thankfully, the traffic's flowing well. And after 85 miles across country, Tony and the boys make it to Newcastle.
Well, here we are. Port of time.
All aboard. Next stop, the continent. Coming up, it's liftoff for one of the trucks.
You won't think something like that could operate with all that weight on. Certainly a spectacle to see.
And things come to a dramatic halt for the rally transport team.
Brake chamber gone.
Eddie Stobart trucks are some of the most recognisable on British roads. And there are 6 in the fleet that are a bit different. The World Rally Delivery Trucks. They've already been on the road for 4 days, heading to the World Rally Championships in Finland. After leaving Cockermouth in Cumbria, they travelled from Newcastle to Holland, and after an overland drive through Germany, they caught a ferry to Helsinki, where they've just landed. So far, the European roads have been a doddle for Tony Wynn and the rest of the truckers.
Luckily enough, with no problems whatsoever. It was just a nice, steady drive all the way up.
For the last leg of their journey, the convoy is travelling 168 miles from Helsinki to the southern town of Jyväskylä. It's a 4-hour journey, and it's all going to plan.
I can't really say that we've ever come across a really big problem. Touch wood, but, you know, there's first time for everything, isn't there?
But Tony's spoken too soon.
Yeah, we've got a warning sign come up on the dash. It just says air consumption high. I can clear it there just by pressing that button. But it's come back on.
The air consumption light coming on could signal a number of technical hitches with the truck, but Tony fears the worst.
Obviously, all the brakes run on air, so if we lose the air pressure, right away the brakes will lock on. We will stop, but a sudden stop.
Tony knows a delay could spell disaster for the rally team. Over the CB radio, he informs the rest of the convoy that there's a problem.
Air consumption critical.
Teammate Mark predicts the worst.
The brakes start binding, it heats the wheels up and cause a fire.
Within minutes, the warning sign pops up again, and Tony has to check it out. With a man down, the whole convoy comes to a standstill.
Brake chamber gone.
The brake chamber's a crucial part of the brake system. It converts air pressure into mechanical force.
With no air, with no brakes.
With no brakes, Tony's truck won't be going anywhere. And without Tony, the rally cars will be without their vital spare parts. This could threaten the entire team competing in the finish leg of the World Rally Championships, so the lads need to get to the bottom of it quickly. The canny Stobart bosses are always looking for new ways to make money. Last year, the profits went up by 13 million quid. They've invested in running trains, airports and a port. And now they've cashed in on the lucrative recycling industry. Keeping the UK green is big business, Stobart Environmental Division has invested in a fleet of new trucks and trailers that shift over 23,000 tonnes of waste wood a week. That gets made into chipboard or fuel at power stations. One of the green team is 42-year-old Steve Williamson. He's been with them for 3 years and he's about to meet his brand new truck, Tracy Holly.
It's the first one I've ever had new, and no, it's nice.
Steve's been a trucker for 18 years and he's very excited by his new toy.
Feels good, you know, to get something new. I've never had a new car in my life, you know. I've never had a new truck given me. I've always had hand-me-downs off other people.
Steve lives on the road 5 days a week, so his truck is going to be his second home. It has a price tag of around 80 grand and comes with all mod cons.
Seems to be a lot more wider. Torque alarm as well. Nice storage underneath there. More cubby holes to put bits and pieces. Spare bulbs. I'm not one for opening presents, but I feel like a kid in a candy shop.
Steve's taking his pride and joy on its virgin run. From the Chelford depot in Cheshire, he's got to head south to make his first pickup of waste wood in Coventry before he offloads it at a chipboard factory in Liverpool. So how does his new set of wheels measure up?
Yeah, my old truck is 420 brake horsepower, but this is a 440 brake horsepower, and you can actually feel the difference in it. There's a lot more torque in it, so to speak.
This lean, green, mean machine is a 10-ton Swedish Scania. With a full trailer, it can weigh up to 44 tons. 14 wheels, 6 axles and power steering make it a smooth ride. It has a 440 horsepower Euro 5 low-emission engine, which means it uses fuel more efficiently. Today it's putting a 44-foot, roof-loaded, curtain-sided chipliner trailer, especially designed to transport loose material. Steve's arrived for his first pickup, and his gleaming new truck's not going to stay clean for long.
It's actually on a landfill site, so this is one of the jobs where the truck and the driver tends to get a bit dirty.
Before the chipliner's loaded, Steve winches back its soft-top roof and secures the flexible sides.
Just check the tightness of the straps, because a lot of the weight will be going against the curtain of the trailer. Right, let's go and get loaded.
All this wood used to end up in landfill, but at this recycling centre they shred it so it can be used in manufacturing. And it needs a serious bit of kit to load Steve's truck. This powerful JCB can shift 1.5 tons of wood with every scoop. It's a filthy business.
It is quite a dirty job, and especially when it's dry, you get a lot of dust flying around and you get it down your throat.
A sprayer shoots water into the air to help keep the dust down. Luckily for the JCB driver, he's in an air-conditioned cab. It takes 20 loads before the truck's full. Now Steve's got to level off the load before he can hit the road. So it's time for him to turn from trucker to stuntman. He hooks himself to a high wire attached to a specially built scaffold, and although he's in a safety harness, he needs to tread carefully. One false move and it's a 15-foot drop. With the chippings tightly packed and covered, he's got to head 118 miles to Liverpool for the wood chipping plant, where it'll be made into chipboard panels. Steve's been working for Eddie Stobart for 3 years.
Ever since I can remember, I've always wanted to be a driver. My dad, he was a driver as well.
Since he's been in the Environment Division, he's become a convert.
You know, I've got a daughter of my own now. You've got to take an interest in it because it is not just our future, it's for our children and our children's children's future.
He's just arrived at the wood chipping plant in Liverpool. This plant runs 24/7. It uses up to 400,000 tonnes of recycled wood each year, and its unloading system is a sight to behold. Steve's new truck is about to come face to face with a piece of jaw-dropping state-of-the-art technology, the truck dumper. This hydraulic lifting device cost £500,000 to design and install, and is capable of rising to an angle of nearly 70 degrees.
It's commonly called the truck dumper, basically because it lifts the trucks up, dumps and discharges in a very short time.
The company has 2 of these monsters, each with 160 kilowatts of power, which means they can lift up to 60 tonnes in weight.
A very powerful hydraulic system, up to 250 bar pressure. You could cut the pipes off the telescopic hydraulic cylinders. It won't come down. It's a very safe system.
And not only is it safe, it's also speedy.
And it can discharge the whole truck in 20 minutes and put the truck back down again.
I find it amazing, to be honest with you. It's, you won't think something like that could operate with all that weight on. Certainly a spectacle to see.
Once the trucks come back down to earth, the unloaded wood chip is screened for unwanted residue like stones, nails and plastic. It's then refined and mixed with resin, ready for the press, where it's converted into chipboard panels. A staggering 1.5 miles of chipboard is made every hour and eventually finds itself in millions of homes as kitchen or bedroom furniture. Over in Finland, the Stobart World Rally delivery team has had to pull over as Tony's truck has a major problem.
Brake chamber gone.
There's an air leak and they don't know what's causing it.
You know, with no air, with no brakes.
But just when he thinks his truck has let the convoy down, one of the other drivers, Pete, has a hunch.
Is it a bag that's gone? What is it, Pete? Hey? Part come off? What were it?
On the chamber. Yeah, no,
It's on it's not a brake chamber, it's airbag. Well, Peter going underneath, he's found it's not the brake chamber, it was an air pipe has come off one of the airbags for the suspension. And he's pushed it back on. And suspension, if you look, you can actually see the suspension coming back up on the trailer now.
The trailer relies on bags full of compressed air to act as springs to avoid damage to the truck and its precious load.
Could be anything, you know. Pressure, it could have just blown it off, or maybe coming off a boat, too much pressure on the airbags. Could be anything. You can hear there's no air coming out now, so with a bit of luck, everything should be okay. All gauges should be okay. So
Catastrophe averted, it's time to hit the road again. The rally waits for no man. The World Rally in Finland is the highlight of the sporting calendar. The gravel roads near Jyväskylä are ideal for racing. Having travelled over 1,200 miles, the truckers have made it to their destination.
yeah, this is it, the service park.
But their work doesn't stop there.
It's all go, you don't get a chance to have 5 minutes now, that's it. It's just mad time.
The service park is where the rally cars will get their running repairs between races. Over the next 3 days, the truckers, along with 10 other construction workers, will turn this patch of gravel into the rally team's home base.
It'll be quite impressive when it's all set up. It's all different teams and that sort of thing. It should look quite well.
Steve Williamson is back on the road and he's carrying a different trailer on his truck. He's picking up a load of wood chip that's going to be used as biomass to generate energy. Biomass is a blend of sustainable and recycled wood which is shredded and made into fuel for green power stations. A whopping 40 million tonnes of it is produced in the UK every year. It's a growing market and set to quadruple in the next 10 years, and Stobart have 100 biomass trailers in their fleet. The latest models have a walking floor. It's made of sliding metal planks which shimmy out the loose chippings. Steve's taking wood chip from Manchester, 147 miles north, to Stevens Croft Power Station in Lockerbie, Scotland. It's the UK's largest and generates enough power to supply 65,000 homes with greener electricity every year. The biomass is burnt powering a steam turbine generator, which in turn produces electricity. It needs a lot of biomass to keep it going.
The power station burns approximately 1,250 tonnes a day, depending on the time of year and moisture content. And vehicle movements, we're bringing 80 to 100 wagons a day.
Steve parks his wagon ready to unload, and the walking floor springs into action. It's a hands-off operation for our trucker. Once he's pressed the button to set the walking floor running, there's very little for him to do except slowly creep the truck forward. Once he's dumped his load, there's still the clearing up to do.
The reason it needs to be clean is so it don't contaminate the next load that's going on.
Steve's work is done, and as he heads back to the depot, his cargo is producing electricity for thousands of homes. Coming up, Mark eyes up the mother of all trailers.
Nice trailer, that.
And some foreign truckers come face to face with the yard shunter.
I catch you smoking and I'll kick you straight out the yard.
Delivering chilled food to Britain's major supermarkets is Eddie Stobart's toughest task. Corby Depot in the Midlands is one of their busiest fresh food operations, transporting over 7,000 tonnes of the stuff each week. And keeping things on track is its crack chilled squad. The dad of the pack is 61-year-old JT.
You name it, we deliver it. You eat it, we deliver it.
He's been a trucker for 47 years, and he's not backward in coming forward.
Get here, you numpty. I'm a nutter, but a character.
It's just a bit of a nightmare in the morning.
He's an absolute superstar.
They all show me respect. Fair play to them. Morning, boys and girls. How the devil are you?
As JT starts his shift, he's not happy.
You've given me this vehicle, no radio, boys. You're taking the now, boys?
I haven't done it on purpose.
You've done this on purpose?
I've not done that on purpose.
You've given me this here vehicle without no radio?
You know me better than that.
Yes?
I would not do that.
You are. Why are you smiling?
JT's missing a vital bit of kit, a two-way radio that allows him to communicate with the office, but he'll just have to grin and bear it.
I shall get my own back, and you know, when I get my own back, you know I get it good.
From his depot at Corby, JT's mission is to pick up a consignment of pizzas from a Stobart depot in Nottingham and deliver them to a Tesco warehouse in Peterborough. But his missing radio is starting to bug him.
Well, I have to use my phone. It's to pull over the lay-by every time I want to speak to somebody. And time is precious to me.
Back at the depot, the clock is always ticking. Getting fresh food to our supermarkets means every second counts. In the warehouse, the turnaround time of perishable food has to be minimal. The fridge area is 55,000 square feet. It has room to store enough food to fill 3 entire supermarkets. The giant coolers are set at different temperatures depending on the produce. From here, 250 lorries come in and out, delivering loads from farms and suppliers, which is shifted across the dock for deliveries. And when those deliveries arrive, they need to be moved in and out quickly and safely. Enter Billy McCarroll, Corby's yard shunter.
Make sure everything goes out on time, and make sure everything's loaded in the right vehicles.
54-year-old Billy keeps a watchful eye on all the vehicles from his porter cabin to make sure they stick by the rules of the yard.
Slow down. Slow down. Some people don't like it, but it's my job. That's what I get paid for, to tell people what to do. Thank you. You've been warned.
And big, hairy truckers need a firm hand.
I am very strict with the drivers. And they like it.
We love it.
I tell them straight.
Billy's just started his shift and he's doing his rounds.
This is the back of the yard then. I walk about 14 miles every day around here. So you've got to be fit to do this job.
Billy rules the roost. No driver can move until he gives the say-so.
Hello, drive. What you got on?
Corby receives fruit from the continent delivered by foreign drivers. And today they've had an influx of melons from Spain. So Billy's doing his best for international relations.
Hola. Hello. You speak English? Poco. Poco. Poco nada.
Francés.
Francés.
Español.
Español. Okay. You're going to go on the rampa 8. Nueve.
8-9.
Yeah.
Okay.
Couple of minutes. So you want to sort yourselves out, put all your stuff back.
Yes.
Sabatio.
Sí, sí.
High vises.
Sí.
No fuma. No smoking.
No smoking.
I catch you smoking and I'll kick you straight out the yard.
No problem.
Okay?
No smoking.
No smoking and no walking around the yard as if you're on holiday.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Out on the road, JT's day isn't getting any better.
I'm 40 minutes behind. So I'm going to have to phone the office, put them up with the situation, that things are going to be a bit tight.
He's heading to the Stobart warehouse near Nottingham to pick up a load of pizzas, and he needs to check in with his transport manager Steve Letts, which means he's having to make an unscheduled stop because his two-way radio is missing.
Is Steve there?
Hello there, JT, how you doing?
All right, mate. I'm just stuck up as well, stuck in there. What do you call it, about 40 minutes in the Inkley.
While JT's got Steve's attention, he can't resist having a rant.
I'm using a private phone, my money wasting.
Your money wasting? John, we'll sort you out when you get back.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. You tell me that every time you give me this hose.
You just keep that load on Tom, John. Come on.
You're some boy, you are.
JT's upset. Yeah, he can keep phoning them pretty regular and he wants his answers.
Them boys in the office, they haven't got a clue what goes on. They haven't. They think it's just, oh, well, you'll be there in an hour or so.
You would be like a dog with a bone, really. Just will not let go of it.
This is hard work.
Back at Corby, Vicky Handyside is about to get on the road, and she's thrilled by what she's carrying.
Ooh, cream cakes. Can't believe they're letting me loose on cream cakes.
36-year-old Vicky's worked for Stobart for 8 years, and she's one of 14 female drivers out of the 3,000 the company employs.
I enjoy the freedom of when you're out on the road. You lift on your own. You haven't really got anybody breathing down your neck.
Having learnt to drive in the army, old habits die hard.
It's my army days coming back to haunt me. Used to have to iron everything.
But she doesn't just drive a 44-ton lorry. She's also a part-time model.
It is important to be feminine. I think when you're surrounded by so many men, it's quite easy to slip into that sort of male temperament. So I think it's very important to stay feminine.
Vicky's dropping her cream cakes off at a warehouse in Snodland, Kent. And to get there, she's got to face the Dartford crossing, with its bridge suspended 200 feet above the Thames.
I'm not really a lover of heights. I always get like a sickly feeling. Please don't tell me this is for the bridge. Very well could be.
A 7-mile tailback gives Vicky plenty of time to think about her vertigo.
It's going to be stop-start all the way now.
The Dartford crossing is 1/3 of a mile long, and when you're on the bridge, you're completely exposed to the elements.
So many horror stories of lorries going over on like bridges when it's really, really windy.
After a nerve-wracking 20-minute crossing, Vicky has finally reached the other side.
Cheers!
With the agony over, she can now concentrate on her delivery.
Should be okay now. Hopefully, fingers crossed, straight run there now.
JT's made it in time for his pickup and is about to become the ultimate pizza delivery guy.
10:30. We'll put the keys in and see what's actually going on the back of the vehicle, how many pallets we got.
His truck's going to be loaded with over 15,000 pizzas. But first, the trailer has to be checked it's at the right temperature. And that's down to Bill, Stobart's warehouse man.
Right, I'm just putting the temperature probe in, just to check the wagon's cool enough for the stock to go on. It must be between 0 and 5 degrees. This is just cool enough at 4.4. So now I can go on and carry on loading the vehicle.
Next, they make sure the produce is also at the right temperature. Before the pizzas leave the depot, they go through the warehouse checkout. They can fully load a trailer in around 15 minutes. JT's now got to get his order to Peterborough. But it's Friday, and that only means one thing.
Friday, innit? All the way to traffic. Why the come this way?
The HGVs are out in force, delivering goods for the weekend shoppers. And JT's feeling the pressure.
11:40. We're going to get the skates on now. 40 minutes later than normal.
It's also a headache for Steve, the transport manager.
Got a half-hour window to actually make that booking at 1300, so we need to keep an eye on him, make sure everything's okay and he's going to make it.
We've got an hour to get from here to Peterborough.
At Corby Depot, Steve's heard there's a problem with one of the fridges in the chilled warehouse.
There's the culprit up there. As you can see, we've got a leak where it's leaking over. Billy's collecting it in a bucket and mopping it all up. And we've got 4 loading bays here that could be out of action if we don't get this mopped up and dry in time to make it safe to use the equipment on it. It's a little bit of a mess, yeah. It's a little bit of a mess.
Any bay out of action means trucks queuing up in the yard and deliveries being delayed. JT is back at base after dropping off his pizzas. He's welcomed back to the depot by Billy, the yard shunter.
Is that my poison pick me?
Billy always gets the brunt of a trucker's bad day on the road.
How you doing, Dad? And it's a nightmare in there. Absolute nightmare.
What do you mean a nightmare?
No radio.
Who's got no radio?
Well, can you not whistle or sing?
JT and Billy have been mates for over 17 years, and there's nothing they like better than a chat and cuppa at the end of the day.
When he does go, they'll lose a hell of a good driver. Tell you now, he's a cracking driver, and I'll miss him.
You miss me fags.
Coming up, the World Rally is in full throttle.
It's a bit more busy than I thought it was going to be outside.
And the heat is on for trucker Tony.
Cut them chilies but my fingers must have touched my head, and my head now is on fire.
The Stobart World Rally Truckers are in Finland after a 4-day journey from the UK. They've delivered the spare parts and marquee area for Stobart's World Rally team.
It'll be quite impressive when it's all set up.
But the truckers' jobs don't end once they've dropped their load. They have to muck in and become builders. They've got to erect a hospitality area for the rally team and their guests, and a service area for the cars.
So it just starts building from the ground upwards, and it just gradually starts to look like a service park.
It's the height of summer, and as Finland's so far north, it's daylight 19 hours a day, and they'll need it.
These panels, it all clips together, it's like a floor in it. That has to go down first, and then we build the hospitality around the floor, yeah? There you go, 110 metres long, 25 metres deep.
These are the kings of flat pack. There are hundreds of parts to deal with, but these lads have done this so many times, they don't need instructions.
This is the framework for sides and the roof. We've got to put all these up. They all get fastened together with these bars that hold everything together. And then once that's up, we can start actually putting the roof on.
Despite the hard graft, the lads are in good spirits.
Welcome to Rally Finland.
The World Rally delivery team are the envy of all the other Stobart drivers. But it's not all glamour.
Everybody thinks we get the chairs out and put our feet up and drink beer all afternoon, but no, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen at all.
With the hospitality tent finished, they move their attention to the service area, where the rally cars are fixed and given the once-over. But there's an obstacle, and these lads are perfectionists.
As you see, there's a post in the middle of the service area, so normally the ground sheets will come level with the front of the hospitality, but because it throws the line out, it'll throw the whole service area out. So when you look at it, everything will be a miss, it'll all be on an angle.
We could do with a big hacksaw really, but I don't think we'll be allowed to cut it down.
A lot of people won't actually notice, but to us we notice because we know how it's supposed to be. Something as simple as that can cause a major problem on a job like this.
They had little choice but to reposition the service area as neatly as possible. But there's already another problem.
Bottoms come off.
No, it's bent.
They found they've got a bent tent post that could delay the build.
Just bent that much, you're not going to be able to do it by hand. Otherwise, we'd have to drop the whole tent, take it apart, and start again with it with a new corner.
So the versatile lads come up with a plan. If you've got a forklift, why not use
it? To be a jack of all trades on this job, sort of like a truck driver, come builder.
Sparking, pneumatics, we do everything.
Someone who knows how hard the truckers work is legendary Finnish rally driver Juha Kankkonen. He's a guest driver in Stobart's rally team this year.
I mean, you can't do anything if you don't have a good service. You need something to eat, you need place to relax, plus good service. These guys, they do a big job to organize everything. It's not an easy job to do, but it's a very important job.
Now the service park's ready. It's time for the rally team to unload their cars. But Mark proves he's a trucker through and through. He only has eyes for the trailer.
When it's fully loaded, each car's worth about £250,000. So you got 8 cars in there, so that's quite a lot of money. It has 2 decks, as you can see. You can get about 4 cars on each deck. And the back of the trailer actually extends so you can put the extra car in it, which is pretty good. So when it's not actually being used, it just closes the back up again, makes it a shorter trailer. So yeah, it's a nice trailer, that.
The next day, the rally kicks off, and the service park is in full swing. Over the last week, the trucker boys have had to transform from drivers to construction workers, and now to domestic goddesses.
salads for lunch, freshly made coleslaw. Whatever chef wants for lunch, that's what we'll concentrate on.
They're cooking for the drivers, corporate clients, local VIPs and the media. Mick Maunder is the chef for the rally team and the truckers are his sous chefs.
We will do maybe 800-900 meals at least.
Team breakfast, there'll be guests for lunch, and I think there's drivers and drivers' guests for tea.
Mick runs a tight kitchen and knows his band of trucking helpers well.
When they first came, it was probably quite difficult for them because I would imagine they're used to just driving their truck somewhere, unloading, parking up. When they came here, it was a big, big shock.
Always keep your prep area clean, Tony. There you go, I'll show you how it's done, pal. Not like them Scanias.
Luckily for Tony, this isn't completely alien territory, as he did have a spell at catering college.
Watch out, Gordon Ramsay. I don't think we do too bad for truck drivers.
As the morning wears on, the pressure is rising as the crowds arrive for the race. At nearly 100 degrees Fahrenheit, it's one of the hottest days of the year, and prepping the buffet is causing the heat to rise in the kitchen.
Cut them chilies. Yeah, and we're cutting them like that.
Yeah.
And then obviously I was sweating, so I got a piece of this.
No.
Right, and I had this in my hand.
Yeah.
But my fingers must have touched my head, and my head now is on fire. It's really burning. I'm going to have to get a bottle of water, I think.
There's no time to be a drama queen, as there are 300 hungry mouths to feed. And it's not just the invited guests they're concerned about, there's also the freeloaders. So Stobart trucker Pete is doubling up as a security guard.
You'd be surprised how many try to get in for free drinks and free food. It's just a case you've got to keep them out.
The race is in full throttle, but more food's needed as the buffet is running low. It's all hands on deck.
Is there another pasta out there?
A bit more busy than I thought it was going to be outside, so.
Just got to keep batting on, keep going. Maybe a bit of chance we'll get some dinner as well today.
It's when it starts getting a bit manic now.
Everyone's fed and watered, so now the truckers become washer-uppers.
Welcome to the jungle.
Comes as it keeps coming, you just keep washing it, wash it again, dry it, wash it again, dry it.
You don't get a chance to stop, really.
It's not what people think we do. I think we have a glamorous life on here, but this is it.
After this racing heat, Stobart's rally team remain fourth in the World Championship table. And thanks to the backroom boys, the service and catering areas have run like clockwork.
They are one of the last people here again. They were the first here in the morning, so it's another long day for these guys, you know. Just shows you we can't do it without them. They're so busy and they're such a big part of the team, so I couldn't do my job without them for certain.
The lads have survived Finland and face 5 more countries in the rally season. Bring it on.
You get to the end of a rally and it's all packed down and you sort of sit in your truck and you go,
sigh of relief.
That sigh of relief, that were a bit of graft. And then you set off, you get home, have 2 or 3 days at home and you're looking forward to your next rally. End of the day, I'm actually a truck driver, you know, but I'm quite fortunate to be able to do this job as well.
Next time on Eddie Stobart Trucks and Trailers, a driver has a close shave.
This is tight, Jesus.
And one special truck takes on a live cargo.
Don't want to break a horse's leg. People think it's come out like he's had 10 rounds with Mike Tyson.